Red Ray Gun Limited presents...
The Benji and Nick Show. Hello.
Hello. We always say hello at the same... The last three podcasts we said hello at the same time. Hello.
Hello, 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 hello. Good morning.
Good day.
Good afternoon.
Good evening.
Good to be here.
Good night.
Good wine.
Good moisture.
Good gravy.
Good feelings.
We bring... Oh...
What's the matter with you?
It always gets me, doesn't it? Always gets me. It's the musician in me. It's the musical nature. Goodness.
Loch Ness. Thank you.
What can we do?
There we are, folks. That was the Loch Ness game. It's not a game and it's not about Loch Ness.
But this is Benji and Nick Show, your number one vintage TV podcast in the known world. That's right, the known world, the unknown world, who knows? There might be a better one. But here we are today. Now, Nick, tell us a bit more about our special guest reviewer and what we're talking about today.
We're talking about what we're talking about. We're talking about. Hey, what we're talking about. Hey, what are you talking about?
Hey,
I'm talking about. We're talking about the Avengers, the 1960s series. The episode The Cybernauts, featuring obviously John Steed and Emma Peel, Mrs. Peel, the late great Diana Rigg, who we lost very recently. What year was it? Do you know?
I can find out for you. I can certainly find out.
While Benji's doing that, I'll also tell you that our special guest reviewer, Shelley Dean, a permanent fixture of the Benji and Nick Show, will be joining us direct from the US of A to share her heavily researched, noted and collated views on the subject. She's never seen the Avengers before, so this is going to be really interesting.
This is going to be really interesting. 1965.
1965, yeah, black and white. So, you know, I had this mad idea that when Shelley first came on board that we'd be sort of sharing in some American culture, but we're just totally dominating her with British culture and watching in amazement as she reacts to it. Because, you know, these things are so well known to us and to many of you listening, and Shelley's kind of going, wow. It's really interesting to hear her views. We have it on fairly good authority that our old mucker, Jamie Anderson, will be turning up today. Yeah.
About time too.
God. Highly anticipated since he's been a no-show for the last two shows.
Show.
I'm going to say show a lot.
Show.
In a moment, your email's sent to podcast@nicholasbriggs.com, but I guess it falls to me to tell you that the Benji and Nick Show is proud to be sponsored by The Village Shop, the online e-store run by the Unmutual website, and Coit Media Limited, your one-stop shop for all things Prisoner, Dangerman, and Patrick McGowan, including DVDs, Blu-rays, books, CDs, audio dramas, clothing, photos, homeware, and gifts. New items are added weekly. Benji and Nick Show listeners can enjoy a 10% discount.
Oh, come on.
Read my lips. On all purchases by using the code LOCHNESS10. That's all capital letters, LOCHNES 10. LOCHNESS10. No spaces, no complications. Use that at the checkout. A further donation will also be made to Hope House Children's Hospice, which is rather good, at no cost to you. The address is www.theprisonershop.co.uk. All one word, The Prisoner Shop. Let's have a look and recommend something from there then.
Well, I've got something here. It's rather cool. It's actually a garden ornament, a penny farthing wall or garden ornament. So it's the iconic Prisoner penny farthing bike, which you can put up in your garden. It's wonderfully elegant, actually. It's wonderfully elegant. I can highly recommend that. Cleverly designed to sit flat on the wall, light, so easy to fix, and a great fun statement piece for any room. So there you go. Buy it, why not, quite frankly, and be the envy of all your passers-by as people pass and think, I want one of those for my house. Because they do, of course.
Folks, you might also like to look at the website nicholasbriggs.com. That's my website. And see if there's anything you fancy buying there. There are all sorts of things connected with me, really. Doctor Who stuff, some movies and posters and things. And, of course, I will sign anything you want me to sign. With my name, in fact. We won't have a look at that, but, you know, not many people go there, really. So if you know, I'm a bit of a charity case. So, it's time for our emails since podcast at nicholasbriggs.com. I don't know. Do you want to read this first?
Yeah,
one?
I'll read this one out.
Okay.
It's a blot on my DVD shelf now. Oh, I'm not liking the sound of this. This was sent by Neil Allen on the 7th of the 10th, 2020, in the year of our Lord 2124, the future, of course. Hi, guys. After last week's review, I made yet another purchase and added Blot on the Landscape to my DVD shelf.
Oh.
Having just finished watching the first episode of Blot on the Landscape, here's my first thoughts.
Okay.
The cartoon titles are terrible and give it a children's TV series feel. They look like they were done by the same people who did the Banana Man cartoon of the 80s, which is great, by the way. The trouble is, it's not for a younger audience, as later on you see a naked George Cole, and the end riot in the high street is very graphic. With it being filmed on videotape, it's very similar to news footage of miners' strike that was happening around the same time. I think I found this more disturbing than poor naked George Cole. The music is also very intrusive. I think it's meant to be a brass band. It's also out of tune. I'm not sure its purpose or not. Well, it's all meant to be done on the mouth. Whilst it's a bit out of tune, it's sort of meant to be a bit sort of lousy. That would explain why it's out of tune. On the plus side, the cast is wonderful, and who's who of people, I kept saying, I've seen them in something else. Anything that's Jeffrey Baildon, Catweasel in it, is guaranteed of some quality. Also, every time I see George Cole, I think of him trying to repair his spacesuit with a tube of toothpaste in that episode of UFO. What fun, what fun. I always forget that he was in UFO.
Yeah.
I'm going to finish off the series as it's got me hooked, and I'm interested to see where the characters go. Loving the pod and hope Benji finds a new home soon. All the best, Neil. Thank you very much. Yeah, well, if there's any sheds at the bottom of the garden, I'll take that up for now. But I recommend, if you're uncertain or unsure about the first episode of Blot, keep watching it because it's great. It just gets better and better and better. That's my views on the
I still haven't watched any more. Sorry about that. I'll try to do better. This next email, the subject is Bum and Willies.
Excellent.
And it was sent on the 2nd of October in the year 2117. Declan Kennedy sent it, from the future. He is a man of the future, Declan Kennedy. His brain is constantly out of phase in the time vortex. Dear Bick and Nenji, he says, as if to prove that very fact. Hello there, long-time listener and first-time caller here, wishing to express my appreciation of the podcast, which has been instrumental in keeping me sane during these end times. Capitalised there. In particular, the new scatological direction taken during the commentary for Inferno. We just said that that guy, the Primord bloke who fell against the wall, looked like he'd pooed on the wall.
It's true,
sorry
he
about
did.
that. I'm so sorry. I must confess, most of the characters in Doctor Who are to be lauded for their commendable bowel and bladder control in the face of peril. Perhaps this offers a whole new form of discourse when considering past episodes. Who is the most likely to fill their pants at danger? Maybe, I think we found my level here. Maybe key scenes could be analysed from the viewpoint of which character is most likely to blow off in fear. I can't help feeling it would lend classic episodes a whole new dimension if one of the characters lit a bum cigar and everyone else in the scene is too polite to mention it. Oh dear, I take after my father.
You wouldn't want to be stuck in that cell, would you, on Skaro with everybody, you know?
No. John Pertwee does rub his nose a lot.
It's true. It's very true.
I say, someone's let one go. I'm sorry if I'm offending people. Please fast forward through this bit. It would certainly explain that cryptic comment in Invasion of the Dinosaurs episode 4. My dear Brigadier, as Karl Marx once said to me, the one who smelt it dealt it. As well as the otherwise baffling subplot about a guff detector. I should at this point give full disclosure. Many years ago, prior to lockdown, before emergency workers were paid in applause and eyesight was tested with a simple chart rather than a drive to Barnard Castle, Nick and I were colleagues. In fact, he took a bullet for me in Nam. I was a PFC on a search patrol in the jungle wars of 65. My weapon jammed and I got stuck way out and all alone. And I could hear the enemy moving in close outside. Long story short, we worked together at 4 Extra, Radio 4 Extra. And I got him to do Terry Thomas impersonations. I say, what a bounder. Keep up the good work, and if I may be so forward as to make suggestions, Mystery Men is a very underrated superhero comedy from the late 90s, which I would love to hear your take on. Likewise, if you feel like straying into surreal comedy, Sean Locke's equally underrated sitcom 15 Stories High is eminently worthy of your time. Till all are one, DK. Thank you, DK.
Some interesting stuff there.
Yeah, I mean, Mystery Men, I've certainly heard of that, but I don't think I've ever seen it.
Was that the Ben Stiller film I'm thinking, or are we talking about a series?
I think it's a film, he said.
Yeah, I think it's the Ben Stiller film, isn't it? Yeah.
Is it?
I believe so. 1999, Mystery Men. I've got it up here now, yeah. Flaming Carrot Comics by Bob Burden, starring Ben Stiller. And, yeah, interesting. He's great, though. I've got a lot of time for it.
15 Stories High.
Very high.
What's that? Go on, look it up.
Go on. 15 Stories High. Wait, what are you talking about? I said Flaming Carrot Comics.
Who are you talking to? Not me, is it?
Oh, you mean that? Sorry, I thought
Look up 15 Stories High.
Sorry, I got completely confused.
I wonder what was going on.
I wondered what was going on.
Was having a stroke.
15 Stories High, complete series 1 and 2. It's Sean Locke's 15 Stories High. The main characters Vince Clarke, a depressed, sardonic recluse played by Sean Locke. Vince's optimistic whipping boy played by Benedict Wong. Started as a radio series, moved on. That is interesting. I love things that start as a radio series. Then make it. It's a good sign of success. Certainly something to consider. I'm surprised that's the thing about comedies, though, isn't it? In sitcoms, that there are some that you just forget about, and they just get lost in the sort of void of time, don't they?
Yes, they do. And Sean Locke was really in everything at one point, wasn't he? He seems to have vanished off the face of the earth.
See what he's doing now. Oh, he's been doing 8 out of 10 Cats, hasn't he?
Which I don't watch.
Yeah,
it's very, very good, but yeah, I don't tend to watch channels that have adverts.
I don't tend to watch things live, to be honest. I just watch everything on catch up now. I don't have time to watch things live.
And I don't want to. And when you do catch up on demand stuff with commercial channels, you're forced to watch the adverts. So that's
it's
it.
True.
For me.
It's true.
I mean, so for example, I was quite keen to watch Channel 5's new All Creatures Great and Small. So rather than having to put up with the adverts, I forgot to record it. So I bought it through, Apple TV, it's called now, not iTunes. I paid £13 for that, and I thought the first episode was really good. I thought it was lovely, and I nearly cried when they went into the original All Creatures theme at the end of the first episode. And then I've watched the second episode, and it is the most predictable drivel. It has all the sophistication of Neighbours. And it's such a shame that...
You tell that to Lou and Drew.
I don't even know what you mean.
Two characters.
They're obviously characters, yeah. I was assuming that.
Toadfish.
Oh, yeah, I vaguely remember that being mentioned, although yeah, it was just... And Diana Rigg, it's her last performance, and it's, it's just so... poorly written, and you just know every time someone says a line, you know what the next line is.
Yeah, that's not great, is it?
It's like a selection of jokes you heard when you were 15. It isn't a selection of jokes, but it is. I think it's really... Oh dear, it's such a shame. And yet there are good actors in it, although the guy who's turned up playing Tristan is... It's like he's doing an impersonation of the part he thinks he should be playing. You know what I mean? It's not like a character. I'm like this. This is what I'm meant to be like, so I'm going to be like this. And it's just awful. Whereas, Sam West playing Siegfried is brilliant. He's such a good actor, and he's really, really... But, I don't think they're being well served by the scripts. But maybe that was a duff one, maybe. I mean, I've paid $13.99 now.
You've got to watch it all,
the rest of it, yeah. But I was I thought the first episode was so good. In a very comfortable, not not surprising way, but I thought this is nice, and if they can keep this up, whoa, there's a huge drop in quality between the first episode. But it's been a great success.
But, you never know with these things. It's like I was saying to you, Nick, this is not on the podcast, but I've started watching, for the first time, Farscape.
Yes.
Which I think is really good. I've really got into it, actually. I think it's good
Star Trek
fun.
with Muppets, yeah.
Star Trek with Muppets. Very good Muppets.
Or Blake Seven with Muppets, I don't know.
It's more Blake Seven with Muppets. But again, that's a classic thing of it. It starts off with like space battles and rockets and amazing, gorgeous sets. And then I'm not too sure if it's the second or the third episode, because my Amazon Prime, it keeps telling me all the wrong episode numbers for everything.
Oh, well done, Amazon.
So I don't
well
quite
done.
know. I don't quite know where.
They've
I'm
got no resources or anything. So,
Yeah, I know.
You've got to be. It's not like they're a rich company, so we can excuse them for getting these things wrong.
But it was like by episode, it was either 2 or 3. By episode 2 or 3, we were on to the classic episode to save money, where you're confined to the ship and there's something on the ship creating a body double of various members of the cast, and so you end up never going anywhere. You only, it's all just the same actors, and then right at the end they get a couple of other people on the ship to shoot a few guns. But I thought, we've gone from like mass battles and real great expensive looking things to that episode. So you just never know with quality, but then I'm sure it picks up. Everybody says it went on for 4 or 5 seasons and did a movie, so it can't be that bad.
Did they do a movie of Farscape?
Yeah, it got axed in the end.
Oh, I was going to say they didn't make it then.
No, they did. It got axed in the end, and then.
What do you mean? The movie got axed?
So the TV series got axed.
Yes.
And then Jim Henson Company managed to secure the rights to produce a movie to tie all the loose ends together, because it ended on a cliffhanger.
Yes.
And so that's how Farscape ended with a. Well,
I said they did a movie, and you said it got axed. So I thought you meant the movie was never made.
No, you said it did a movie. I thought you were
mean.
questioning me. You see.
I was, and you said, "Well, it got axed." So I thought you meant.
Sorry,
the movie
I
got
assumed
axed.
you followed me. No, the series got axed, and the movie was made to.
And it must be a TV movie.
I assume so. I mean,
that was never in the cinema, was it?
Farscape.
It wouldn't be allowed in the cinema, Farscape, would it?
It's called.
We're not having you in here.
Get out. It's called The Peacekeeper Wars. Farscape.
Oh yeah, I remember it well.
Australian-American military science.
It.
Oh, it's a mini-series. Look at that.
A mini-series?
It's a movie mini-series. two episode mini-series broadcast on the Sci-Fi Channel. That says it all, doesn't it?
Oh, well, so no one watched it. Oh, terrible.
Oh, we got one more email here anyway, keeping up the momentum.
Yes.
Subject of this one is utter codswallop. You guessed it, it's from Thomas Hodden, sent on the 6th of the 10th, 2020, in the past year of our Lord, 1800.
Oh, very nice.
Yes, I can imagine him writing this out with a nice quill and an ink pot. Ink plot. He's plotting with ink. Evening all. As per Mr. Briggs's recent messages, I have been in contact with the rest of the cast for tonight's dramatic reading of The Hound of the Baskerville Hills, and have reshuffled the cast again. But due to the late hour, this will have to be the last time. If you don't like your roles now, then quite frankly, too bad. Stephen Fry will now be Sherlock Holmes.
Very good.
Good choice. Samuel L. Jackson will be Watson. Mr. Briggs will be Lord Baskerville.
Thank you very much.
Yes, you get all the equal billing before the title. Mr. Tumble will play Sir Red Herring. Oh, ghastly. Nader will play Dr. Actually the Husband. And Davros will be his sister.
In inverted commas.
In inverted commas. George and Bungle will be Mr. and Mrs. Working Class, with Zippy as their estranged relative Boris, smells of meat. Benji will fill out the ancillary roles of Lestrade, Mrs. Miggins, Herbie, Chewbacca, Shepherd, Zelda, and Cultist number 6. That's my favourite character, that is Cultist number 6. Yeah. Timothy Dalton will be serving finger cakes and coffee at the interval. Marvellous. He makes a very good finger cake. I hope this clears everything up. Yours, T.E. Hodden. Certainly does. I'd pay to watch that. I'd pay to see it.
Now, there you are. You see, you gave both pronunciations of Lestrade. I would always say Lestrade. I used to say Lestrade until I was informed by those very committed aficionados of Sherlock Holmes that it's pronounced Lestrade, even though in the modern Sherlock they call him Lestrade.
Well, I always remember at school being told it was Lestrade, but I would look at it and say Lestrade, but who knows, quite frankly. But well, they know. The Sherlock Holmes people know.
Yeah, I was told it's Lestrade.
That's the thing that irritates me, is when you're told incorrect things in education.
Yes.
Like for years, when they were teaching us to say H instead of H, and that
who
really
told you
bugged
to say
me.
that?
My teacher back in primary school said H, and
She must have been from the north.
Well, apparently, yeah. God knows where she was from, but I can't remember. But yeah, it's H, and I feel very proud because my sister used to say, like she'd say at work, I had a meeting with HR today, and I say no, HR, and now she says HR. Just
You have
like
converted her to the cause.
the cause of the H's.
Yes, I mean, the confusion is that the H makes a H sound, so people think it should be pronounced H, you see. But, I mean, it is a regional thing. I mean, very unfairly, when I hear it, it just sounds like the person's stupid to me. It's a terrible thing to say because, they're perfectly intelligent people who I work with who say H. But there you go. Well, dare we move onwards?
Let us move to Camelot.
It's only a model.
Oh.
Right, let's invite Shelley in.
Let us ride to...
The reason I'm being nervous, listeners, is because as a member of my family, my cousin, who I haven't seen for years, who says he's going to pop round and see me. In a mask, hopefully. Right, I've sent Shelley an invitation. Hello, Shelley.
Bonjour.
Hi, guys. How's everybody today?
Rockin' and
We're good.
rollin'. How are you?
I'm good.
If only the listeners knew what had been going on in the long gap
Yes.
between. but luckily, none of it's actually interesting.
Gosh, I just had a message to say the viewers have turned up early and they're in the house now.
In the house.
And I'm being phoned. Hold on. Hello.
Well, they're an hour early. Tell them to.
I'll vacate the room then. Okay then. All right then. Bye.
So we stop again, shall we?
We'll stop again.
If you stop again and
Because people are viewing Benji's house.
when we start
No,
over.
I think I'll include all of this and we'll come back. Cheerio, bye.
Bye.
we're back in the room.
Yes, sorry for the chaos.
Absolute chaos going on.
Did we say hi to me? I
I think we probably did,
I think
but
we
in case we
did,
didn't.
yeah.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
And happy birthday as well.
Yeah, it is your birthday. Look at those.
Wearing the birthday ear thingies.
What
Yeah.
are they? They're stars or no?
They're
What?
little birthday cakes with little
Oh,
candles.
It's
Yeah.
amazing.
Or
Just to explain
crown.
for the
no,
listener,
it's a
they're-
crown. I lied. It's a crown. It's supposed to be a crown.
They're like on wires sticking out the top of
Dongles.
Shelley's head.
fab.
That is the technical term, apparently.
It's called a dongle.
Listeners.
The best thing as well is that you can't see the dongly bit on the camera, so they just look like they're hovering.
Yes, it's true.
Actual magic.
I thought that they were Zoom filters.
No, I bought them because I'm going to be alone on my birthday, so I thought I would just bring a little joy into the day and wear them all day.
Well, you can listen to the Benji and Nick show, and then you'll feel like you're not alone.
That's right.
That's the tagline, isn't it?
That's the tagline.
you'll
You're
never
not
wa-
alone.
You'll never walk alone with the Benji and Nick show.
Sounds like a threat. So what we're here to chat about is the Avengers,
Dun, dun,
the
dun.
Cybernauts.
Yes.
I'm sure everyone listening knows what the Avengers were. I know Shelley didn't, so this is a real voyage of discovery. What, on watching this, do you think the Avengers is, Shelley?
Well, that's a great way to start this. I thought it was like a crime mystery show.
That's about it, isn't
Yeah,
it?
Pretty much in a nutshell, yeah.
They work for a secret government agency, actually.
Yeah, because I knew nothing. I knew
No.
absolutely nothing. I don't know who the characters are. I don't know their relationship to each other. I don't know what the whole, who they work for. I just knew They came in and they were solving crimes, and so it was very disconcerting to me, my personality that needs to know everything about everything, to just kind of...
Did you look stuff up?
No, I didn't. I went in blind. I went in blind, and because I kind of wanted to see what it felt like to kind of try to figure it out as I was going.
Yeah.
And I absolutely loved it, even though I didn't know who anybody was. And if, like especially when it's the 4th series, relationships are established, inside jokes are established, things are already happening that you should have been there the whole time to have gotten a clue about. So I didn't know how much I missed, what went over my head, but just as a blind viewer, I loved the storyline. I loved the characters, and it was a bit silly, obviously, but I did enjoy it.
It is meant to be slightly tongue-in-cheek, yes.
Yeah.
Benji,
I mean, that's the beauty of Avengers,
seen this one before?
isn't it? I have seen this one before, yes. Although I will say I was absolutely overjoyed to watch it on BritBox in such wonderful quality. It's just pin sharp HD. It's glorious.
I didn't have that experience watching it on Daily Motion.
No, you didn't. Yeah,
No.
it's a whole different kettle of fish, isn't it?
And not to mention the amount of commercials I had to watch on Daily Motion.
Well, you're American. You're used to commercials.
Literally, not anymore. Not with DVRs and
true.
on demand and all that stuff. But the commercials were happening literally mid-sentence. Steed would say blah blah blah, and then a commercial would come in, and then it would come back, and he'd be finishing the sentence. So that was tough. But now I'm the dilemma I have now is whether I'm going to buy a Ford Escape or a Lincoln Town Car, because the Ford Escape commercial said that it practically parks itself, and the Lincoln commercial, I'm assuming Matt McConaughey comes with the car. So I guess I'm going to take the Matthew McConaughey.
Have you ever been in a self-parking car?
No, I have not.
It's a very weird experience. It's ever so slightly traumatic because...
What if it goes wrong?
Exactly. It's like, I don't trust technology, but they do. They park perfectly. They're very good. They're very
My
good.
car that I just got 2 years ago now, it has this button. You push it, and it will steer itself.
Oh, God,
so
no.
it will stay. But no, listen. It'll stay between, like if you're on a highway, it'll stay in the lane. So if you start veering to the right, it'll compensate, and the wheel actually turns, and it'll steer it back into the center. And if it goes to the left, it steers. And it's very weird. Like, I'll do it, and I'll let go of the wheel. And then, if
I'm
not,
you got your hands like hovering really close,
holding just right above it, and then my car will yell at me and tell me I have to hold on to the wheel while it's happening.
Really?
And I'm like, then what's the point?
Yeah, it's surely that's sort of counterproductive. I don't know.
But
I mean, the self-parking thing, I can't believe we're on this massive tangent. The self-parking thing.
Blame Daily Motion.
What if you're Italian? Because, my very brief experience of driving in Italy many, many years ago was that I remember, it's very difficult to park there anyway because there were so many cars. But I saw an Italian driver trying to get into a space that I reckon was only 3/4 the size of their car, but they were going to give it a go, So what happens if you get to a space and it's too small? Does the car just go,
Yeah, it just gives up. It'd just be like, no, not...
Just gives up. How does it give up, though? Does it explode? Do the tyres deflate?
It does. I think it just beeps aggressively at you. You know the proximity on the back that goes...
Beep, 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 beep.
Or the gas pedal just hits the floor and you just go.
Yeah.
Just rams everything out of the way, yeah. Yeah, that HGV will get rid of that.
See you later.
It transmogrifies the car into a tank and it just crushes all
that
other
could
vehicles.
be useful. That
would be very useful. I lived in New York City for many years, and wow, that would be very useful for parking.
Yeah, gosh.
I've spent many a traffic jam with you, Nick, haven't we? In the back of in the van, listening to the Batman soundtrack. Such happy days.
I go through various levels of acceptance and frustration, and I go through the full gamut of emotions.
Of grief in traffic.
They go round very quickly. Yeah, I go. It doesn't matter. God, this is driving me mad. I mean, when are we going to get home? Listen, there's nothing we could do. There's no point getting. But the thing is, it's really annoying.
That is so true. So true.
I try so hard not to get frustrated about outcomes I can't accept. I can't affect, rather, not accept.
Then you can't accept them afterwards anyhow. So
I think my little slip there was quite telling.
Yes. Tell me about your mother.
I'm not wearing a little slip, I'd like to add. So never mind the commercial breaks.
Yes, the commercial breaks, Daily Motion.
We've discussed the commercial break more than the actual show.
I saw more commercials than I saw of the Avengers. So
we have.
You want me to review it? That's my review.
We've accurately reflected your viewing experience.
Yes.
I found it interesting, Shelley, that you made the comment about it being the 4th series, because this was Emma Peel's first series, wasn't it, Benji?
I think it was, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So she was fairly new to it. This is a few episodes in.
I had no idea, yeah.
And there'd been, previous to that, Honor Blackman. Have you heard of Honor Blackman?
No.
Oh, goodness. How could she not have heard of Honor Blackman? I mean, is she American or something? She was in Goldfinger. You've never seen Goldfinger?
I can sing the theme song.
Well, she was in Goldfinger playing a character called Pussy Galore.
Oh, okay. Didn't know her. I didn't know the actress's name, so yes.
She left the Avengers to do Goldfinger.
Gotcha.
So she was the previous girl. And then previous to that, the Avengers, there was another main character, and Steed was the sidekick.
Okay.
The main character was a police surgeon, and I can't remember his name now. It's really annoying. So the Avengers had gone through very different stages up until now. And this first all shot on film, black and white series was when the Avengers became the Avengers that all British people know about.
Okay.
It became this slightly wacky...
With Diana Riggs.
Yeah, Diana Rigg, yes.
Rigg, sorry.
Singular. There's only one Rigg.
Oh.
The thing I think
There's
about
multiple Briggs, but one Rigg.
Exactly.
The thing I think about the Avengers, though, is that you can, provided you know that there are different sort of characters, you can pretty much clock in at any point, and you don't need to know an awful lot.
Once you know the setup, which Shelley didn't, to be fair.
Yeah, no idea.
But I think my
I'm
opinion,
glad it still worked for you then.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know going in if it was going to be a sci-fi kind of vibe.
I mean, the Cybernauts are sci-fi.
Yeah, but that's why I didn't know if it was going to be along the lines of like Doctor Who, with science and interplanetary anything. I was totally blind going in. So
Benji, I interrupted you. Sorry.
No, I was going to say, I think as we've covered the Avengers before,
we did.
I think the same thing springs to mind almost immediately for me, is that it's just so classy. Everything about the way it's shot, the way the dialogue, everything about it is just a class act. I mean, there are some bits, the Cybernauts themselves look utterly ridiculous, and quite frankly, nearly all of the premises are utterly ridiculous. I mean, this... Do
you mean the buildings or the ideas?
All the ideas. Hey, very good. But all these, you keep going on about this being the most remarkable invention ever, and everything's insane, and they're impeccable killers. I'm sorry, but all they seem to do is follow a fountain pen around all day. Yes. And if you take your jacket off and decide to nip out, you exactly.
Oh no! Crash through the wall.
Yeah. But it doesn't seem very very flawless to me. But what Michael Goff says goes.
Well, also that's it just reminded me, just talking about when you mentioned Doctor Who back then, that I think all the guest actors have all appeared in Doctor Who. I mean, Michael Goff was the Celestial Toy Maker. and also
Bernard Horsfall has been in a million
as well.
things.
He's been in Doctor Who several times over the years. He was in Planet of the Daleks as the Chief Tharl.
Okay.
Shelley.
Looking surprisingly looking older guys. Here, even though nearly all of my memories of him are from later on. That he seems to look a lot older here.
Something about the black and white. I don't know.
Who knows? Yeah, I suppose the swept back hair as well.
But as you know, as I keep going on about in previous podcasts, I've been rewatching the Tara King ones, and she was the follow-up to Diana Rigg.
Okay.
You see, Shelley, and received wisdom in the UK at least is that, Tara King was pants because Diana Rigg was flawless.
Oh, she was amazing.
I've been watching the Tara King ones, and she's actually. You think that she's just sort of the same, but actually she's really, really different and really entertaining and lovely. And I've fallen in love with those episodes. And I was starting to unfairly think, I bet the Diana Rigg ones aren't all that because I'm loving these. But going back and watching this is pure class, and she's pure class. And it works in a very unique way. I mean, some of them, this black and white series, he says, holding forth, of the Diana Rigg episodes, is in many ways, I think, for my tastes, the best Avengers series because it's the most sci-fi. So we've got a sort of a Cybernaut, a robot kind of weird thing here. Okay. There's another episode where a seed pod comes from outer space and infects people and takes over their mind, and it's a bit Quatermassy, like they're gonna take over the Earth with plants and stuff. So there's lots of really. And then when it went into the Carla episodes for Mrs. Peel, her final series, it just became like wacky crime stories.
Okay.
But it's very interesting. Yeah, this is something that TV series, I don't know whether they do this so much now. There's no callback to the setup of the series in this to let someone like you, Shelley, know what it is. Because these people, it's an espionage series. They're spies, basically.
Okay.
But it's kind of. That becomes more obvious with the Tara King stuff because their boss, Mother, is this strange fat bloke who's always either in a wheelchair or sitting in a swimming pool or in an aquarium. He always has wacky hideouts. They just, do weird things like have to jump in a river to go and find him. He's very much like the government telling them what to do, and it just becomes more and more zany. But there's none of that in this, is it really? They look like just two lone investigators who happen to turn up.
Yeah, and except for there was that other character who came in, and I couldn't figure out. He came in. Steed was in their, I don't know, their apartment, their house, their whatever, the domicile that they were staying in. There was a guy who came and they were talking about. And he was walking around, and he was touching everything, and he was playing with stuff. And then the timer went off, and he was like, "Okay, your 3 minutes are up," and he left.
Yeah, he was a government person, wasn't he? You know the one we mean, Benji?
Yes, I do, yes.
And can you tell me what he is famous in our little world for appearing in, that actor?
I've gone completely blank.
We foresee a time when the Daleks will have... Yeah,
of course, it is, isn't it?
It's the Time Lord from the beginning of Genesis of the Daleks.
Oh my gosh, you're completely correct, yeah.
I can't even remember the actor's name. But
you're completely right.
There's a story.
But he's one of their...
Yeah, I don't think he ever appears again. He just turned up in this. They always have government people turning up and saying, "Oh, hello, Steve, lovely to see you again." And we think, well, we've never seen you before, and I don't think we're ever going to see you again.
You're off. Okay, so there was. He looks wise. He's got a government-like face.
There was no significance to him. There wasn't any callback to some, this character with the 3-minute timer, because it just was so random to me.
Yeah.
Okay, because I just figured he was somebody that has been in every single episode and does this every single time. And
yeah, wouldn't it be great if he did? But no, he's. I'm pretty certain in saying he's never been in it before and he's never in it again. Am I right, Benji, or have I got that wrong?
I assume you're right. So I think you've got more knowledge of this than me, and you've probably seen more of it than me. But I don't recall, from my memory, ever seeing him ever again.
Well, I've got this entire series on DVD as well, and I did watch them all fairly recently. But they do, because they're so. This is where I offend all Avengers fans, because they're so low on actual substance. They slip from the mind really quite quickly, and you start confusing the different episodes because they all have very similar things happening.
They blend together in your memory.
I think.
I remember the.
Sorry, carry on. No, Karen, you were on the point of it, Nick. Carry on.
No, please don't. I'm talking too much. Go on.
Well, I was just going to say, I think, they are fairly similar, and they've all got quite a lot of daft things in them. In this, for example, that stuff about the cards, all that, those, all you have to do is cut out a bit of card and you can intrude into this top secret base. And I just love the fact that they...
Well, no, but he said they change them weekly, and I thought, oh, well, that's real intense security there.
Yeah.
And also, Steed and Peel have seen a lot of things, but I've never seen two people so absolutely baffled and shocked at seeing a lift or an elevator. They look over as if it's like this crazy thing, but it's just every time they
I think they're worried about being trapped in it or where it's going to take them.
And it was a concave. It had like a round outside, so it didn't look like a regular elevator lift that would just open in a wall. It kind of swooped open in a weird angle.
But then what else could it be apart from a bog, Like the ones on trains, train toilets, but,
It did look like a toilet on a modern train, didn't it? What was Michael Gough's plan?
A fully automated robo-government, wasn't it?
Yeah, I wrote down that conversation. Dr. Armstrong said, electronic brain is incapable of a wrong decision. And Steed says, what's the end product? The perfect politician? Armstrong, exactly. Government by automation. Steed, sounds like a dictatorship. Armstrong, it's the only solution. Steed, I'd say it's up to the voters. They might disagree. I wrote that down because of the political environment happening here in America now. And it just made me go, oh, interesting that this was so long ago. And
It's just I worry I'm turning into Michael Gough because I'm not very keen on the decisions that voters have been making the last few years. I think, actually, let's get a Cybernaut to run things, but one programmed by me.
There you go.
Obviously, I don't mean that. Or do I?
No.
Oh, there we go.
And Benji, last time we watched an Avengers episode, you got a bit cross about the music. You found that it kept annoying you that there was so much of it.
No, well, see, with this, I felt it was perfect, and the music was brilliant. There was a great sense of suspense, which I just loved throughout. Obviously, they kept reusing the same parts quite a lot, but I enjoyed it.
There are some cues that survive from episode to episode, but they work quite well. They've been composed in such a way as they will that stuff when he was walking in and out of the lift, that is a cue that is always used when he's snooping around.
And it worked, I mean, to be honest, I think apart from obviously the ludicrous, crazy plans and plots in this, I don't think there's much I can really fault it on. I think everything about it is just so good. It looks brilliant. It sounds brilliant. Like even the sets, are like wonderful futuristic buildings and, all the masks up everywhere. And then, you've even got the karate area which looks actually, even though it's blatantly just a set, it just looks great.
It's classy and stylish, isn't it? Is that fair to say?
Definitely,
folks.
Yeah,
I think it's really tight. It's really it sets out to do something and achieves it to the nth degree beautifully. I think it's a total success. It doesn't fail on any of its intended goals at all. Some of the later Avengers ones, there are some mistakes and things like boom shadows and mics in shot, although I think that a lot of the ones we're watching on BritBox, especially the Tara King ones, I think they were cropped when they were on television. So they shot them, you know what I mean? They shot them with a bit more headroom in, and so we're actually seeing the mic come in a few times. I'm doing a fantastic impersonation of a mic for everyone who can't see me, which is all of you listening. I'm going to keep doing it. I like it. It's like a duck, actually. It's like a weird... It's like emu hovering above people. Anyway, that's a little reference there that Shelley won't get. Emu. You won't have heard of Rod Hull and Emu either, will you? No.
Man who made a career out of sticking his hand up a bird's bottom.
Quick, say more.
Up a bird's bottom.
Yeah, a puppet of a bird.
Okay.
So I'm loving it. I'm veering towards giving it 5 exclamation marks because it's so successful in what it does. I mean, I know it's not deathless prose, great drama, the best thing ever made. But, you know, to mark things on the basis of what they try to achieve and how close they get to achieving it, I think for me, actually, it is a 5 exclamation mark.
I think, you know what, I'm going to run with that one and say 5 as well, because I think it's so sophisticated and classy in the way it's put together. It's just a joy to watch. You can't watch it and not A, get sucked in, but B, enjoy it in some way. It's fun. But also, and this is something that I think we really are missing nowadays, is just uncomplicated television, just TV where, you know, you've got 2 characters go off, solve a mystery, get in a bit of trouble, and have a bit of fun, and it wraps up within an hour. That's lovely. There's just not enough of that. That just clock in, watch, clock out. Now everything's so over loads of character arcs, and you have to, if you haven't watched episode 3, then you're not going to know what's happening beforehand, you know. And so I think what's nice about this is it's self-contained and just fun and just uncomplicated.
And I can attest to that 100% because I came into it not having seen anything, and I still enjoyed it. Thoroughly enjoyed it. I have one little question about a plot point that is bothering the heck out of me.
Well, I would say that, you know, it is all arrant nonsense.
Yeah, well, okay. Explain this to me. Okay. So Roger, what is the name of the Cybernaut who goes and murders everybody?
Roger,
by the way, his name is Roger.
I forgot that.
So at the end, and I didn't get to see this because anybody who is listening to this right now who watched it on Daily Motion will also have had this experience because the video just cuts out before it's over. So I didn't actually get to see the ending. It went into another video with Cardi B. Yeah, about Cardi B, and I don't think Cardi B was in the Avengers, so...
I don't even know what Cardi B is.
She's a rapper, American rapper.
That's why I don't know.
Right. So anyhow, I, of course, was doing my research afterwards, because I'm a nerd, and I discovered that the end scene was Roger kills the other Cybernaut.
That's right.
Breaks the pen, and then freezes. And then she comes over and knocks him over with a finger.
That's right.
I didn't get to see that part.
No.
So here's my question. And this is what it said in Wikipedia, that when Roger finishes his killing the other robot, which was his challenge, his, you know, whatever, his, I can't think of the word. But anyhow, so he freezes.
Yes.
How come every other murder he committed, he
wasn't
caught? But why didn't he freeze?
Yeah.
Was it because his instructions were to go back to base, and not in this one because he was already in base? At base.
Yes, I'm
there we go.
buying
Thank
that.
you. Okay, there. Then I'm satisfied with that. Good job, Mr. Briggs.
I mean, I don't think. Yeah, I mean, go back to base. He's supposed to go back to the control room. He just stayed in the warehouse. I don't know what that warehouse was. That warehouse full of empty boxes that kept being knocked over. We must put some more empty boxes in the warehouse.
But then maybe you know, somebody
Shelley did some good Cybernaut impersonations. They were
moving and shaking. I think that maybe Michael Goff was in the control room, and maybe, you know, when it's done its business, he clicks a button.
No, he's dead.
He's dead now, but I mean, when the normal murders are committed, maybe he clicks a button to make it.
The normal murders.
You know, the classic normal murders.
Is this a normal murder?
I think so. His neck's broken. But yeah.
But it was only. But there was no bruising, so that's how she deduced that it was done by that fancy karate move.
Do you want to know something scary? This is an interesting thing relating to the other podcast, actually. So we were talking, Nick, on the Big Finish podcast. We were talking about cassette tapes.
Yes.
I've just had an advert pop up online to say, bring that sound back to the golden age with cassette tapes.
Wow.
They're definitely listening, aren't they?
I haven't gotten any helicopter ads yet, Nick.
Yeah, Shelley and I have been deliberately talking about helicopters on Facebook in the hope that someone will start sending us adverts for helicopters. It's a nice pink helicopter I would like, yes.
And I'm doing research on finding out how much they cost. And I've got no ads for it, so...
Well, maybe we should have made it something more mundane. So, Benji, that wasn't a point about the Avengers, then?
No, that was just something that popped up as I was talking. It just came up, and I thought I need to remember to say this for any of our listeners that might have come from the other podcast. But yes,
should we see if we can invite Jamie Henderson?
Why not? Why not?
And while you're doing that, I will give my vote or my.
Oh, gosh, sorry.
No, it's
Shelley.
okay. I'm the one who brought up a hellacious plot point that was upsetting me.
Yeah.
As somebody who's never seen a single episode, I want to give this a 4.5 because I really, really enjoyed it. And the fact that it is as Benji was saying, it's a one-off. I didn't need to know anything else to understand that this was the simple go in, solve a crime, finish it. Boom. Loved it. So, yeah, I really, really enjoyed it. And Diana Rigg, ooh, baby, that leather outfit she had on in the last scene. Yeah. Yeah.
Does it, doesn't it? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Amazing. Yeah.
She was just an amazing character. She was an equal. She wasn't relegated to being, the assistant. She had a mind of her own, and I felt that Steed respected her opinions and her her knowledge on things. And I just, knowing that this was made in the 60s, it's not something that you would expect coming.
That's a very good point.
So
really strong female role.
Really, really, I just dug her, man. She was just
and she kicks ass, doesn't she?
Amazing.
She wins the fight.
Yeah.
Yeah. The leather thing came into the Avengers with Kathy Gale, with Honor Blackman.
Oh, okay.
Because they originally
Pussy galore.
they originally wanted to have her in a leather skirt, and then Sidney Newman, who was one of the creators of Doctor Who, but was something to do with commercial television around about that time. He was interviewed by a friend of mine called John Ainsworth, and he said. He said, we had her in a leather shirt, but when she kicked people, you could see her. Yeah, and he came out with the 4-letter word straight, and he looked at them as if to say, "Did you get that down? Write that down." He thought, "Yeah, we're not putting that in the interview, Sydney." So they decided to put her in leather trousers, Kathy Gale, because of the level of bodily exposure that happened when she did big kicks at people in a leather skirt, and that tradition, the leather cat suits, whatever, transferred across to Emma Peel as well. Oh. Tara King's wardrobe is far more eccentric and more even later 60s. She just wears the most bizarre collection of strange, crazy stuff. None of it particularly appealing, it has to be said, but it has to be seen to be believed, to be quite frank. It's great stuff. Whereas Diana Rigg, I think, had more of a sort of stylish feel to it.
Oh, yeah, she just... And she carries it so effectively, like it just...
Yeah, the elegance is incredible.
She's just... I loved her so much in Game of Thrones. I mean, that was just...
She was great in that. She was fantastic.
But she turned her back on the Avengers, right up until
did she?
Just maybe a year or so before she died. She refused to discuss it, refused to talk about it, because she left the series not to be typecast. And as I've mentioned before in this podcast, but probably when you're not around, Shelley, is that the irony is when she died, all the British newspapers carried huge pictures of Emma Peel on the front to say Emma Peel is dead, And you thought the irony, the bitter irony for the late, great Diana Rigg, a brilliant actor who'd done so many other roles, that the role that she wanted to ignore, the one that gave her fame, was the one that everyone remembered her for. But I dare say she probably knew that would happen.
Yeah. Well,
but one of the big producers of the Avengers, Brian Clemens, father of my friend Sam Clemens, and I met Brian several times. He did make a personal appeal to Diana Rigg before he died for her to come and do an event, and isn't it time? And she just blanked it.
Really?
And they were old friends, and I remember that he was apparently quite sort of disappointed and offended by that level of being frozen out like that. But people make decisions about their careers, don't they?
Yeah, much to the chagrin of the fans, that tends to be. I mean,
I'll never do that about the Daleks.
Yeah. Well, look at Christopher Eccleston. You know, he had his moment, and then now he's turned a corner and is embracing it again. So that's it's always possible to come back.
Very good point.
Yes.
I've invited Jamie.
He's washing his hair, I think.
Yeah. Which one?
That old classic.
Let me send him a text. I've emailed you a Zoom invitation, old chap, I shall say. He's going to say, on a call.
In a meeting.
I was ready an hour ago.
Yeah. And then I started washing my hair.
And then I was washing my hair.
So, hello, we're joined by Jamie Anderson, who's been a no-show for 2 weeks. So let's give him the cold shoulder.
They literally have, listeners. I can see their frosty shoulders now. Hello.
How you doing?
Hi.
You've been very busy, haven't you?
Very busy.
How come you're free today?
Well, I've come to the end of my really busy patch, and you'll be pleased to know, Nick, you know I've had a very poorly cat.
Yes.
My poorly cat is coming home today. Alive. I just want to add that, just in case there's any doubt.
I mean, I very tactlessly said yesterday, I said, oh, is she dead? And you went, oh, thanks very much. I didn't mean that. I meant, how is she? But I said, is she dead? What a way to ask about
way
how
with
someone
words,
is.
isn't
Yes.
it? Yeah.
So warm.
That is how we all ask each other how their loved ones are.
Yeah.
Is she dead?
Or not. I'm going with not. Oh, that's lovely. What's your cat called?
Marmalade.
Oh, and she looks like marmalade, doesn't she?
Yes. Made entirely of orange. No, she's just a cat. But I know she had triaditis.
If she did die, she had sorry.
Triaditis.
Sounds like she joined some, Chinese crime organisation.
No.
Tridads.
It's not as exciting as that. She is not an international criminal.
Assassin.
She's just got a swollen pancreas and liver and autoimmune hemolytic anemia.
Goodness.
Gosh.
That's a mouthful.
Fine recipe of things.
What's the prognosis?
I should be all right.
Thank you, doctor.
That's
I'm not
pretty
dead
much what the
yet.
vet said. Yeah, exactly. No, she's now being treated correctly. They just couldn't work out what came first, what was the primary cause of the anemia. Anyway, this is not why I'm here.
No.
Oh, we'll change the podcast to talking about cats because I could do it forever.
The cat
I could talk about Guinness next door.
Yeah, you have a cat now, Nick.
Yeah, it's not really ours, but she spends a lot of time here. There's some inappropriate joke about marmalades and dying and spreading her on your toast, but I don't. Anyway, that's
But luckily, as she survived this illness, you don't have to make it. I think that's really best for everyone.
Thank goodness for that. and First Action Bureau has been going well, hasn't it?
Oh yes. Well, are we plugging that now?
Why not?
Why not?
Yes,
Eh?
it's
We're
been
both
going well.
connected with
Although, I mean, I've not heard any comment from Shelley on that matter, so maybe she hates it.
Haven't listened yet.
What?
Shelley?
It's free.
I know. I've got quite a lot of stuff happening in my personal life right now that I'm just a little busy. I haven't had a chance to.
It's only 10 minutes an episode.
I know.
And yet she's here for the Benji and Nick show, but can't let that. I mean, that shows where your priorities are, Shelley.
When was the last time I saw you, Jamie?
Well, 2 weeks ago on Zoom.
Well, now I've seen you, so now I can watch it.
All right, fine. You have got a lovely rainbow, to be fair.
I see I see the point.
And you haven't wished me a happy birthday yet, so.
Happy birthday, Shelley.
I'm bringing it up
today.
again.
She was wearing these. There we go.
What? Oh, that says happy birthday. I just couldn't quite work out. So is it 2 crowns?
Yes, see? I couldn't even figure it out, and I bought the damn thing. Yes, it's 2 little crowns. I thought it was birthday cakes.
And what did Nick and Benji get you for your birthday?
They got me not ready to do the podcast this morning, way too early.
Yes. Podcast? I'm in the shower. Oh, damn.
8:26. What?
There you go. Happy birthday.
Yeah, that was my
Benji.
birthday present. Running around the house, going, I gotta get to the microphone.
Get up and podcast. Gosh.
Yes.
Jamie, what we did the Avengers today, an episode called the Cybernauts.
Oh yes, the one that Network did the restoration of. Did you watch the HD version or?
Well, it's on BritBox.
So probably not the HD one, I guess. Then.
It is HD. No,
Is it?
It looks fab.
that's
Looks really good. Looks really, really good.
Because it's a trilogy, isn't it? Or there are 3 Cybernaut stories.
There are 3 Cybernaut stories. There's a colour Emma Peel Cybernaut story, isn't there? Is that called Return of the Cybernauts? I think
it is.
Revenge of the Cybernauts.
And then there's a new Avengers episode
Planet
called
of the Cybernauts.
The Last of the Cybernauts. Why is no one
Mrs.
taking
Peel
this
marries
seriously?
Roger the Cybernaut.
Romancing the Cybernauts. I mean, I'm aware of them. I've seen clips of them. Are they frightening and creepy, the Cybernauts, or are they a bit sort of naff 60s baddies?
They're a bit pants, to be honest.
Great review. There we go.
But it was a great episode.
It was a fab episode. They're sort of like even less scary Autons, really.
Well, they did a good job building up the suspense of what this thing was, because they never shot its face. It was always shot from below, so you got the sense of its absolute immense size.
Nice.
So
the
subtle hints, this is something that I didn't mention before, the subtle hints of the little wind-up toy robot in the toy factory. The camera kind of just zooms in on the little toy robot that's doing its little toy robot walk, and I thought, it's a robot. That's what it gave it away for me. But.
Yeah, you see, it's interesting because, of course, I watch it having seen it umpteen million times.
So you knew.
Yeah, but yes, it's true. It's a very good point.
Yeah.
This is why Shelley's perspective is really interesting.
Nice.
Unlike Jamie always, Jamie always turns up and goes, "Nah, I've seen it."
At least I know of the Cybernauts. I knew what that was going on
That's
a bit,
true.
right?
Yeah, Phil, we've gained progress here.
Thank you. It's 2 weeks off, and I come in partly knowing a bit about one thing about what you've watched. How's that? Give it another 100 episodes, and I'll actually know one of the things you've watched.
Jamie, we're getting closer to sorting out our Patreon.
Good.
Just saying, that's all we can say.
Okay. Okay. Well,
we have a Patreon account that we've got to do things with now.
Excellent. I look forward to Patreonizing you in due course.
Hey.
We have to decide what we're going to do next week, folks. Anyone got any ideas? I haven't. What's that?
Nighty night.
Oh, God.
What on earth?
Is that a no?
I don't think 90 Night qualifies, does it?
Well, I mean, that's the only DVD that I've got near me.
Benji?
Things to watch.
Shelley? Anyone except me?
We could do Inferno.
How about a new idea?
What about...
Well, we could do the next episode of Inferno.
I was going to say you could do Dick Spanner.
Dick Spanner, yeah. That old classic. That will qualify. Will qualify.
It's gonna be another Anderson drubbing, isn't it? We're gonna hate it.
All right, bloomin' heck.
I've already decided. Right, we're gonna do Dick Spanner. Isn't it like 10 minutes an episode or something?
No, there's a long version where it's like 22 minutes.
God.
So
okay.
You can do the Case of the Maltese Parrot. I think is the one you can do.
Sounds good.
Thank you. Well, we're going to do Dick Spanner, the Case of the Maltese Parrot.
And Jamie, you need to send the link because I have no idea where I will find that.
Yes, I don't suggest you put Dick
I don't
Spanner
want
in
to
your
Google that.
history.
I don't want to Google that.
Where can I get Dick Spanner? Yeah.
Whoa.
I bet that'll start showing up in my Facebook ads.
Quick, before we're all arrested, time to get close to the microphone. I just want to say thanks for writing in, folks. We're getting some really fantastic emails sent to podcast@nicholasbriggs.com. Please keep them coming. Great entertainment to be had from them all. And do suggest things, because we're clearly out of ideas. Do suggest things that we should watch. And people are suggesting, and we should take notice of them. I mean, we watched the Avengers because that was a suggestion.
It's true.
Anyway, from me, Nick Briggs, it's goodbye.
From me, Benji C, it's goodbye.
And from Shelley, it's bye.
And from the resident Cybernaut expert, goodbye.
Pressing stop now. Ka-chunk.